Hello, it's some time since I did one of these videos. So today I'm going to play another solo piece by Honegger called Danse de Chevre. If you scroll down my videos on YouTube, you'll be able to eventually find a performance of the piece. Danse of the Goat was written in 1921. It's part of an important part of flute repertoire. A lot of people play this. The piece is in several sections. It's like a multi-sectional tone poem. It begins with a sort of undulating landscape of hills, very calm, upward fourths, rising fourths, and then descending tail-offs, fast scales. Then a dance, a fairly frenetic dance. Then central section of a pastoral melody before returning to the dance, which is even more frantic, up the octave this time, quite difficult, before returning to the dance as it was at the beginning, well, in section 1A, and before returning to the pastoral melody and then framed at the end with the rising, undulating landscape again. I'll play the whole thing and then break it down into chunks and just talk about each one. beginning has rising fourths. C to F sharp to B and to E, and then coming down, tailing off. There are a lot of these rising shapes. They either go this way or they go this way, and the piece is littered with them. This is undoubtedly the undulating hills. So it is quite straightforward. It's slow. So far, so good. Does it again. This time it varies. E, F, A flat, D, F. That's from bar 3 to bar 4. Then we get the first downward arpeggio move just here. Okay. And then we're into a quick anticipation of the frenetic dance, but right down at the bottom of the flute. So you have low C, C sharp, E, G, and then back down the same way. A lot of palindromes, contrary motion, the same way, different way, just backwards, like retrograde. So obviously Honegger knew something about serialism, which it was in the air at that particular time. Then we get the hill section again. Varied. So there you have again, this contrary motion idea, which speeds up, accelerates, then into this move from B flat right down to E. And this demi-semi-quaver run here, this chromatic run, it can be broken down into 3 demi-semi-quaver triplets. Da-ga-da-da-ga-da-da-ga-da-da-ga-da-da-ga-da-da-dam. It just helps to keep it on track. If you do it just as demi-semi-quaver, a demi-semi-quaver run from B flat down to E, I find it just gets out of, the fingers just lose it completely. I suppose you can do it, but if you break it into 3 lots of demi-semi-quaver sextuplets, then it works. Then we're into the dance. Which is essentially the upward rising scale and then downward. So it's going up and down, up and down. So it's following the undulating rising fourths of the beginning. Not completely, but it bears some reminiscence. It has F sharp and going up to, this time, a C coming down to B. So you'll be able to practice that. F, F sharp, A, C, G, B, F sharp, B flat. Which Honegger rhythmicizes as like so. Okay. And that happens several times with variation before getting to bar 20 and its rising scales. So those are chromatic, more or less, not absolutely, but more or less chromatic. Then chromatic. scale, a trill. That's that section. So there are the scales. You can see them. Before arriving back at, guess what? The dance. This time followed by, preceded by an upward rising chromatic scale. Right. Then we're into this section of contramotion arpeggios, followed by a scale upwards, contramotion arpeggio, followed by a scale upwards again. So it's full again of these similar shapes. Sounds difficult. That's not too bad at all once you get it under your fingers. F, D flat, B flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, F. I just played that, then just repeated it using semiquaver triplets. Maybe you can make that into a little exercise. And then a series of scales upward and downward. So let me play this section. You'll notice that the dance rhythm from the actual goat's dance is brought into this in fragments this time to connect with the downward rallentando of the first section, bringing it to an end. Hang on, I'll play that again. That wasn't very good. Coming to rest on an A. Then we get the pastoral tune, which is the central section. Which I think is, that sounds to me like it's a pentatonic scale. It is, it's a pentatonic scale on D. But Honegger begins on a low D. It doesn't remain fairly slow for long. It goes back into the frenetic dance, this time even more frenetic. This section begins at bar 40. It's marked Vief, which is fast. So we've got the goat's dance, this time up an octave, all this here. And then we have these really fast scales. The fast scales are F, D, D flat, C, B, D, F, A, B, E flat. And then the Gans tune, ta-ta-tam. Same thing, repeated. And then a different downward shape and into the dance again, before really getting to the crazy part, which gradually moves up by sequence into this fast downward scale. B flat, G, E, D, D flat, C. The same thing an octave lower, the same thing an octave lower. So it covers the three registers of the flute. So you really do have to master the higher register for this. There's no getting away from it. Followed by, you can see this, it's like a It's like an expansion of the downward and upward scales, down and then up, over a line this time, not just a bar. So from there, bar 47, I'll play that again, it wasn't very good. Work on that, it's quite tough. And then back into the dance itself. And then the pastoral melody, this time on F. So again, that is a pentatonic scale on F. Then at the end we have the, which is the downward and upward arpeggios from bar 27, this time taken from there and put into bar 58 to the end, with fragments of the dance tune. And then the actual tune itself, mark lointain, which means distantly. Then the rural landscape. Which is like a palindrome in itself, actually. If you compare bars 1 to 4 of the piece with bars 62, 63, 64 and 65, you'll see that they are back to front. They're placed in a different order from they were at the beginning. It's very clever, because so the whole piece is to do with sort of small scale and large scale palindromes. Even the structure is palindromic in a sense that it begins with the rural landscape, ends with the rural landscape, dance, pastoral tune, dance, pastoral tune, a bit of reminiscence of a dance, dance, and then back into the rural landscape at the end. The last note's interesting. It's an actual low C blown up the octave using a harmonic. Old copies used to have just a C. But low C blown up the octave by a harmonic is much easier to control. I hope you've enjoyed that piece. Sorry about my mistakes. You'll really, if you can get a hold of that, get a hold of this piece, you'll really enjoy it. I started it in 1969, so I've been playing it a long time. And you know, this is a lot of the thing about flute playing. You know, get a piece thinking, oh, I'll never be able to play that. But as the years pass, you sort of get used to it. It takes a long time to learn pieces. A lot of flute playing is to do with, a lot of music is to do with repetition, constantly repeating things you've done until they're grilled into your head and fingers and memory. Try it. Get hold of a copy if you can and start learning it. You'll get a lot from that piece. The same with Syrinx as well, which was in the previous, Debussy's Syrinx, which was in the previous video. Okay, I won't rattle on anymore now. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.